All right, so let's get into it. Luke, show me your phone real quick. All right, it's 5:05. You can see this is gonna be a real-time barber tutorial. How would I actually break down this haircut real time, because this is a real appointment. So you guys are gonna see how long it actually takes me to get to the final result. Now, the reason why I wanted to film this haircut in specific is because you guys saw how nicely it was all growing in and blending in from the curls on top. He has pretty long curls on top to the sides of the fade, right? And like a lower compressed fade. And a lot of times people struggle with these more curly top haircuts, and the reason why is because they don't know how to actually have like that transition or that blend area. Now, all you have to do is you actually, even though you want a nice blend, you start by parting the hair out. So you can see I drive my comb forward. At the recession point, I take long hair up and I take short hair down. That's because that hair belongs on the side. Now, yes, we are still going for a blended look. We're trying to clean up this fade, but I wanna show you guys a system that actually works inside of the shop on real time. And you can even see we have a timer up there that says 5:07. So let's get into it. So now you can see that this part over here is a little bit overgrown. I need to find his proud or rich, so the round of the head. And this is where I start with my block graduation. So I'm gonna use the fine teeth of the comb. So I'm gonna be using my fine teeth of my comb, fingers on his scalp. The reason why is because that's gonna actually blend into our clipper work. And I'm just gonna do this around the whole sides of his head, the back as well. This is going to give me a good base to connect the curls into, while also being able to blend into it with my clippers. You can see I'm doing small sections at a time, and for each cut, I'm going ahead and turning the chair. You guys have to have a haircutting system that you guys can use real time in the barbershop. A lot of these systems that you guys might be learning, they might be cool, for like content if you're gonna take, an hour and a half to cut somebody's hair, but you guys need haircutting systems that are gonna actually give you guys results that you can actually do in the barbershop in real time. So after you go ahead and you set that base around their head, you gotta drop the chair. Now split the hair in top in two, just like this. Now, the part that's gonna throw people off, because it's essentially like a messy crop, but the part that's gonna throw people off is actually the fact that it's curly hair, and they don't know how to deal with curly hair. And the reason why is because with curly hair, you need like that in-between kind of like transitional length, right? Where it's not super long, but also it's not too short either. So how can we get best of both worlds? I'm gonna show you guys how to do that when we actually break into this scissor cut, all right? So let's get into it. So now that we actually did our foundation, now we have to go ahead and connect the top into the sides. Now the back, we do a lot shorter, and then it naturally gets longer as we go to the front. Now the difference is with these curls, when I'm gonna go ahead and connect them, is I'm not going to connect them straight up to that guy that's underneath. Like you can see right here, that's where all that short hair is at, right? I'm actually going to go ahead and pull out the hair a little bit more, leave it a little bit longer. And the reason why is because when you do that, when the curls shrink up, it's going to look blended in. So you can see right here, I'm pulling it out a little bit further than my guide, because when these curls actually shrink up and when you put some product in it, it's going to blend in a lot more. Versus if I cut it directly to that guide that I just set in, when it shrink up, it's gonna look a lot shorter. It's not gonna blend in as smooth. Everything behind the ear, I'm going to like slightly pull it out a little bit longer. Everything in front of the ear, I'm actually gonna go ahead and pull it out even more. So you can see here, it's a lot longer. So what I'm gonna do is you can see I'm nowhere near that guide, and that's completely okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and just cut this, and as I get to the front, I'm leaving it longer and longer, slowly, bit by bit. Then we go ahead and we drop that, and you can see that because we connected the scissor work, that we have a nice flow here, but all of this hair can still curl up, and it's not gonna curl up too short either. Now we're gonna do the same thing on the other side, and you guys are gonna see how this actually gets you into really, really nice clipper work as well. Same thing on this side. I'm pulling it away. Now I'm gonna start from that short point that I cut, but now I'm angling my fingers almost like diagonal, taking off that inch, and I get more to the front, more to his hairline. I'm only leaving it longer and longer and longer. Now we have to cut his bangs. Remember, curls are gonna shrink. So if I cut his bangs right where I want them to be, when he actually goes and styles his hair, it's gonna jump up, and that's not what you want. So I'm gonna comb out some of the bangs. And remember, we almost just created like a triangle right here, right? So I need to cut the peak of the triangle so he can have more of like a framed edge up. Even though it's still gonna be curls, I still want it to have a frame. So you can see here, when I comb it from the front, I have a short point here and I have all this extra long length. So what I wanna do is take that off, so I can have a really, really nice edge. Now I don't have to worry about it looking like an Edgar because he has curly hair, so it's not gonna do that anyways. So I'm literally just gonna go and take that inch off. And after you cut the curls, you wanna reset the curls, kind of mess with them, play with them a little bit. And the reason why is because then you're gonna see how they're actually gonna curl up and where they're actually going to lay on your client's head. And then if you see anything's too long, maybe you missed a hair, you can always go back and re-grab it. Now we have to go drop the chair and cut the top. Now you're gonna comb everything forward. Now you're just gonna take slight sections. And then now, since you connected all of that hair, you're gonna see a nice like triangle up top. That's gonna be your guide. Just make sure you're taking off that same desired length, that whatever they wanted, whether that was an inch or a ½ inch, whatever. Now remember, with curls, they're going to shrink up. So you have to account for the shrinkage that you're gonna have in the curls as well. Comb it over to the side, comb this up, comb it to the side, come back over here, boom. Now these sections that I'm doing, they're only like 1 inch wide, right? About the size of my comb. And we're just gonna keep these sections the exact same, and we're making sure to keep our fingers squared. Sometimes when I see people cut hair, especially like curly hair, they do this thing where they put their fingers like at an angle. That's gonna kill the shape. You wanna keep your fingers straight, like parallel to the floor. That's exactly what I think about. I just think about keeping my fingers parallel to the floor. That takes off the length on top without being scared of messing up the shape that you're trying to build. Because ultimately, you don't just wanna cut the hair shorter, but you wanna leave the shape in a way that actually complements their face shape and it makes them look better. And guys, a lot of clients, they struggle with finding a barber that can actually do cuts like this and knows how to cut their hair with scissors, knows how to, you know, cut curls in specific. So you guys taking the time to watch these videos and like further educate yourself is making you more money, just because you're gonna be able to retain clients that other people will not retain. And we talk about this stuff. We talk about this stuff inside of the Six Figure Barber, you know, mentorship. There's a free school community, all that type of stuff. But you know, I have clients like Luke, where Luke will pay me $70 every single week to get a haircut. That's why he doesn't have a bunch of hair. But a part of that is not just the haircut that I'm doing, but also who he is. So how can you target, you know, clientele like this? You know, that's stuff that we teach, that's stuff that we talk about. But now you can see here, if I'm messing up with the curls on top, you can see that I have no curls that are hanging over, but I have like a really nice basis to fade into. I still have curls everywhere. It's not like I cut his curls out, but you can also see I have no hanging over here, but now I have a very, very nice area to actually go ahead and blend into. So let's go ahead and dry the sides, and I'll catch you guys on the fade. So you want to dry the hair before you fade. It's just going to feed a lot easier. Now, the reason why I left the top a little bit wet is because I want his curls to like naturally kind of air dry. I could diffuse them. I don't even have a diffuser on me right now. But if you just throw some product in his hair and just let it naturally air dry, you guys are gonna see that the curls are gonna naturally just curl up in their actual curl pattern. So I've dried the sides, I left the top a little bit damp, I threw some product in it, and the reason why is, like I said, so it can just naturally dry, and by the time I finish with the fade and I finish with the beard work, the curls on top will essentially already be dried, especially good enough for him to continue with his day, and they'll have actual product in it. So now, you guys remember how we did that first guide with our scissors and our fingers like on the side of his head where that proud or ridge was? Now what we do is we take our 4 guard or our 3 guard, just depending on, you know, how big your fingers are. If you have very wide fingers, you're gonna need a 4 guard. If you have little skinnier fingers, then you guys can actually use a 3 guard. And you're literally just gonna go ahead and blend into that weight line that you set in the beginning. So now, as long as I don't go over, you know, my weight line, I know that I'm not gonna mess with my shape or any of, you know, my curls on top. Now my 3, this is my 3 right now. My 3 goes right under my 4. Now, when you have a guard in your hand, use it to your advantage. So I'm gonna start blending in his beard with the guards that I already have in my hand. It's gonna help me to be a lot more efficient. You guys have to learn to be efficient. Now, what's the difference between being efficient and rushing? Being efficient means that you're not wasting time, but you're maintaining quality. That is my clipper closed. I use my clipper closed sometimes. And the reason why I do that is so it doesn't set up a hard skin line. Now this is my soft trimmer. This is the trimmer that's not super sharp, that I don't use for edge ups. And the reason why is because if it's a lot softer, well, what happens? It's gonna be a lot easier. I don't have to worry about taking that skin line out later on. Now my next step is going to actually be my foil shaver. At the bottom of my fade, I use 2 foils. And when I get higher into my fade, I use 1 foil and I start to do like an X motion. I start to go more diagonal. The reason why is because this lets me get closer to that guideline without creating a foil line. Now we can go back into our clippers, and I'm going to head and do lever open. Now, when using these clippers, this is the easiest fade system, I think, in mankind, right? You debulk with that 4, you debulk with that 3, and then after you do this step, which is your no guard lever open, your next step is your 1.5 guard all the way open. Now my 1.5 guard is going to go straight into that 3. The reason why is because this clipper has a stretched bracket. So when you take it straight into the 3, well, what happens? It almost acts like a 2. And now you guys probably didn't catch it, but I just went ahead and turned it. Now my lever is closed and I'm going right under that 1.5 open. and I'm blending it even more. Now guys, I'm purposely going to have a more compressed fade. This is the look that he likes. It's gonna look a little bit heavier on the sides, but that's the style that he likes. You guys gotta like tailor the haircut to your client, not just to their head shape, not just to their hair texture, but to their preferences. How do you know their preferences? By having a thorough consultation. That's how you know. And remember, whatever steps I do on the fade, I can do the same steps on the beard. Now the next step is actually gonna go ahead and start to blend this out. So I'm gonna start all the way closed and go up about halfway. Same thing on the beard. And then I do one notch. So now I'm a quarter of the way open. I'm a quarter of the way open. Now I'm halfway open. I'm going up a little bit more. This is literally just open to close. Same thing on the beard. And now I have this last guideline that I need to blend out. So let's blend it out. Now the second to last step of this fade is actually going to be your 0.5 guard. You're gonna start with it all the way open. And since we're doing a more of a compressed fade, I'm purposely gonna do like shorter strokes with my clipper. I'm not gonna go too high because I don't wanna, you know, stretch out my fade more than I really want to, but I'm just starting to use a bunch of corners. I'm not really using too much of the full blade. I feel like it's gonna help me to control my blend a lot more. And guys, if you don't mess up a haircut, then you don't really have to fix it. But if you're gonna go and you're putting all these extra lines and light spots into your fade because you're using your full clipper, you're gonna have to take that out later on. Versus if you just do something right the first time, you're gonna be more efficient. You're going to stop wasting time and you're still gonna have a super high quality haircut. And the high quality haircut is gonna be able to retain you more clients. Guys, if you do the math, and you can do the math, right? And like Luke is one of my good clients, so I can really talk to you guys, you know, about this stuff while I'm cutting them. But like Luke pays me $70 a week to cut his hair. If he gets a haircut every week for the rest of the year, how much is Luke worth as a client? Luke, you wanna do the math? Go ahead. Luke is gonna pull out the calculator real quick. This is some of the stuff that we teach inside of, you know, the 6FB mentorship.
I'm gonna say like 50 weeks?
50 weeks.
Like 1 week vacation?
Yeah, say 2 weeks vacation, so we'll do 50 weeks in a year. So 70 times 50 weeks in a year. That means that Luke pays me $3,500 a year to make his hair shorter. Now, check me out. The reason why that's so important is because what I do is I do this thing called the ACV lens. ACV is annual customer value, right? How much is Luke worth in terms of dollars? Luke is priceless, but in terms of like just the numbers and like a spreadsheet, Luke is $3,500 a year as a client. When I met Luke and I became his barber, I made an extra $3,500 a year. So check me out, right? When I see Luke, I want him to feel like he's getting $3,500 of value. If he doesn't feel that way, then I'm not doing the right job. So when I see Luke, in my head, what I think about is, yo, this guy pays me $3,500 a week to, $3,500 a year to cut his hair. I need to make sure he loves his haircut. I need to make sure that he loves me as a person and that he has a great experience and that I don't leave him any complaint in the world. That is what we really want you guys to understand. My haircut content is good, but trust me, my business content is way better than my haircut content. I just wish barbers would understand that. Like the same way that you gain a client is the same way that you're gonna lose a client. So if you gain a client from discounting your services or from being the cheapest haircut in town, yeah, 100%. When you raise your prices, they're gone. Adios. See you later, sucker. But if you actually gain a client from the quality of your service or from the quality of the haircut or the experience or whatever, as long as you keep that quality there, they're going to be there. Or if you gain a client because you're super punctual and let's say they value, you know, their own time, the moment that you stop doing that, you're cooked. When you already, you know, let's say you start being 30 minutes late to their appointment and not even communicating that you're sorry about it, yeah, you're cooked. The same way you gain a client will be the same way as you go ahead and you lose a client. I try to put my best foot forward. I wanna gain clients off of the quality of my service, the quality of the experience, the quality of the haircut, how efficiently I can get them in and out. And because I know I can always put my best foot forward when it comes to that, and if they value quality, if I raise my prices $10, you know who doesn't care at all? Them. They don't care at all. But you can see, guys, this is how the other side of the fade is coming out. I'm gonna go ahead and line them up and I'll show you guys the finished result. So you can see, guys, we had cut the top, we threw some product in the top, fade is done, just have to line them up. Time is 5:32. So in less than 30 minutes, we have the haircut essentially done. It just needs a lineup. But let's go ahead and finish the whole thing. Because think about it, if I don't gotta cut the quality, then what does that mean? It means that I can still charge a higher ticket for my service because my service is not based on anything else but quality. It's value, it's not price. It's not that I'm the cheapest barber in town, but it's actually a quality service. But when you're efficient, you get the best of both worlds. You get a bunch of new clients that are gonna sit in your chair. You can still have a high volume and you can actually charge more money for it. The reason being is because it's actually a quality service. Your whole business is built off of quality. It's just quality that's efficient, that doesn't take people 3 hours to get a haircut because you rubbing their face with a bunch of weird creams and stuff like that. Let the freaking estheticians do that stuff. You cut hair. Like, because truthfully, I could raise my prices. I could raise my prices here. I could raise my prices in the barbershop. But then I would be like the people that are charging $100 for a haircut. I don't want barbers to think that you have to charge that much to make good money. Like, the first time I made 6 figures cutting hair, it was charging $25 haircuts. And I think a part of the story that I want people to know about is that to have real success as a barber, you don't have to be that barber charging $100 and taking these hour and a half long appointments. Like, no, you could just be an efficient barber that understands his business and you'll be straight and you'll be good. And that's way more scalable to the small city, to the big city. Yeah, maybe I could charge $200 for a facial with a bunch of creams, yeah, in Tampa, but like the random dude in freaking Missouri is not gonna be able to do that. Not to the same extent as me, so it's like, I'm trying to do this in a way that everybody can really learn from it and grow. All right, guys, this is the final result. Luke, can I see the phone real quick? So we have let's see right there, 547. That means that this was a 42. So 42-minute haircut and beard, guys. We were able to do a tight, like medium compressed skin fade, trim the curls on top using a scissor cutting system that is great to blend into, but also is gonna grow out super great. We blended in the beard, we lined it up as well. You can see right here, this is the full haircut and beard right here, all done in 42 minutes. This is an efficient scissor cutting system. Now guys, if you guys actually wanna see more haircut tutorials just like this, I'm gonna show you guys where to find them. So right here, inside of our school community, right here, you can see it's the 245 Barber School. If you guys go to the classroom section right here, there's actually a lot more haircuts that you can watch right here. But on top of that, there's a 6-figure barber mini course where you guys can click here and learn the 6-figure barber strategy. You guys get a training on ACV. You guys get a free tracking sheet as well. You guys get some business cards and flyer templates that you guys can use and to find out about your next step. So if you guys want to learn more, whether it's haircutting or business, the 245 Barber School is the place to be. Now guys, I'm not the best barber in the world. I'm not the best barber on YouTube, but I'm my client's favorite barber. And that's exactly what matters to me. And that's what should matter to you guys as well. If you guys want more tutorials, go ahead and just comment down below. Any haircut that you want, I will find it, I will do it, and I will show it to you guys. And that was all for this video, and I'll catch you all on the next one, all right? Peace.